Hey all. This is Neon's Movie Reviews. Yeah, we basically decided that we're going to be doing or talking about Hereditary and Tomorrowland. Um, so um, this is my buddy Nate. He has never seen Hereditary. I've been trying to get him to see it for a long time now. He's been putting it off. And Tomorrowland is one that I've had but never seen. He's been trying to get me to see it for a while, so we basically agreed to, alright, we'll watch each other's and we'll talk about it. So we're gonna start with Hereditary. So Nate, what were your thoughts on Hereditary?
Well, all right. I think it's fair to back up and say why you were trying to get me
They're
to watch Hereditary specifically. I think the first time you suggested it to me was because I told you for a while I had irrational fear. I kept having these thoughts of like something horrible happening to my younger daughter, and you're like, oh. Have you ever seen Hereditary? You were basically like, oh, this is a phobia of yours?
By the way, full spoilers for both films.
Right. He's like, you have a phobia of something there. Here, watch this. But, so, alright, so what did I think of it? I like the movie. I, the cult cult aspects in any movie, I'm always just very slow to accept that idea.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other parts of the movie, visually, thematically, the way it was filmed, every single person's performance in that movie, even the people that later I'm just like, why are they in the like?
Yeah.
I don't like that's another cult person, okay, but that person, as small as their role, just like played that creepy weird part that they were supposed to play.
Well, there was that one guy that was like smiling at Charlie at the funeral, and then he's the one that's like just smiling there, standing naked in the son's room. And yeah, like that was sends the kid running out of the room.
That was one of my things that I was kind of like, what? Like, this kid has witnessed his daughter become, his sister become decapitated. His mom set herself on fire, and the first thing he starts screaming about is naked middle-aged people.
Right.
I was like, wow, that's what snapped you out of your shock.
Oh no, actually, I think he was one of the people bowing in
the treehouse.
In the treehouse at the end. I think it was actually one of those because I think there was one that looked at him and smiled. But yeah.
I enjoyed the movie. It scared the crap out of me. I was highly uncomfortable. Again, like, there were some things that were just telegraphed. I was just like, alright, like, yes, I think this is a smart horror film, but at the same time, like, still plenty of those stereotypical horror tropes in it, you know? Alright.
To me, it's more of just like there's a lot of stuff that we're dealing with that's very out there and that's very detail oriented. So, unfortunately, while the mass majority is not going to see this film, I do want to hold the hands of those that do, just to make sure they can get the mass majority out of this. And I'm going to do my best to explain it in the simplest and easiest to understand terms. So we're going to go with crazy cult, we're going to go demon possession, we're going to do this, but we'll throw child decapitations in there, we'll throw burnings, crazy other decapitations.
Video that we were talking about.
Yes. And all of those will, and the cinematography, all the way the story is going to develop, the way we're going to just hang on the child's death and the depression and the mourning and like never leave that stage. It was just like, oh, this is a completely different type of horror movie.
It was.
Now, I do feel, especially talking about this a couple of years after it's come out and the director's other film has come out, we should probably talk about Midsummer as well, a little bit.
Okay, and Midsummer I had seen previously as well.
Right, and when I saw it, it was the opposite. I saw Hereditary first, and then got all hyped for Midsummer, and I had a good time with Midsummer, but I went in expecting another Hereditary, and I was just like,
very different.
yeah, and I was just like, oh, well, I can definitely tell you like certain things as a director. There's a certain rhythm or poetry, as George Lucas likes to say, between your films, but it was definitely not as great of a movie.
And see, had it not been for the context that you first kind of suggested it to me,
Yeah.
had I just seen, I think I would have had the same shock in a different in the opposite way. Had I watched Midsummer and then been like, oh, you like that movie? Here, check out this other movie of his that you like. I would have gone in expecting Midsummer, and it's been like, whoa, alright, this is very significantly different than the movie. Alright,
Yeah.
Midsummer, even the first time I watched it, that opening shot, I was like, this is important. I know that this is important.
Yeah, this is the roadmap of everything. Okay, those are. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna remember as much as I can about this and see where I remember it coming back up later.
Every little thing that was introduced was just like, oh, that was in there. Oh, that's the four guys that were in the drawings that were being led around. And yeah.
As soon as the one person started to step off feet first, I was like, oh no, this is not ending well. How is this gonna actually pan out? And they brought out the hammer, and I was like, oh, here it comes. Here comes the mercy killing.
That's why they had that.
Yeah. Here comes the mercy killing, and unfortunately, it's still gruesome.
Oh yeah, the girl did it right. She yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked that. Like, while these people believed, you could tell that, like, when they were going, or even when people were in the barn that were willing sacrifices, like, they were still lied to. Like, they didn't want to go. They just believed in the system. And, you know, the woman that jumped off, she was definitely, like, not excited about this. Like, it was like, okay, this is just, it's my time, apparently. And then
Sucks. I don't want to die.
Mm-hmm. And then the people that were put into the sacrifice were they were given medicine that'll make them not feel anything and all this stuff and comforted and they're screaming in there like as the fire hits them. It's just like, oh yeah, no, they were just
hurt.
Yeah, it's just they weren't given anything. It was just all comfort and just belief. Okay. Wow. Okay. I am very curious. I know they've yet to release it, or at least as far as I know, they've yet to release it. But there's a director's cut of Midsummer that's almost an hour longer, and they released it theatrically for a short run. They haven't released it for home video, but they like one thing that I've heard in that there's the bear costume, the bear scene where he's put in there and you just see him kind of sewing it up. Apparently in one of the scenes from the director's cut, they show how they put him in there, which involved them hacking off or sawing off his legs and arms. So it was, oh, okay, he was not just doped up and couldn't feel anything. He was kind of in shock and drugged and unable to do absolutely anything about it. And it recontextualizes a lot of the scenes.
Sure, but I think that having it the way it is, there's no reason for me to believe that even at 6 feet tall that my arms won't fit down a hollowed out bear's arm.
Yeah.
As a former chef, I've deboned, pork legs and things like that. So
yeah.
There's no reason for me to believe that, So when I watched it, I just figured that's what it was, and it didn't really detract from the horror of what this guy was
Oh no, I still felt for him.
I felt for him though.
Way.
Right. I felt he deserved it, but I was just like, wow, you deserve something bad to happen to you. I don't think you deserve to be.
You deserve the metaphor of what this represents,
right?
But not this. Like,
right.
You deserve to be dumped, and but not. No,
she was pretty psychotic. I mean, in the beginning, I don't think that he was necessarily unjustified for being like, this chick is clean, and I don't.
She definitely had a lot of. She had a lot of commitment issues and yeah, just many issues from dealing with her sister for all those years and everything, and just personal other issues. And I mean, the household that would lead to one daughter doing what she did would probably rub the other things off on the other one. So yeah, she definitely had issues, and then after that, definitely had issues. But
it'd be difficult for most people to process that. Yeah. That being my first impression of this director. When I went in there and you just see the parents sleeping, and you're like, oh, they're sleeping through the phone call, and then they get to her just with the mask on, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just duct tape to her face.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. This is
a little different.
Very dark. I was not quite expecting this from what I had in the previews. There were several things that were in the trailer that paid off very well, but much differently than I thought they were going to from the trailer.
Yeah, I thought the cult was going to be scary and...
I expected it to be more of a, hey, we're nice, and then 15 minutes of, oh, we're evil, look, we tricked you.
Here we go, eating you and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I almost expected, hostile. And I guess in a way, you kind of get it with the disappearances.
It's definitely it felt like a classy...
But it doesn't have the torture porn aspect.
Well, to a degree. Not the torture, but the gore it had. But
there was plenty of gore.
But it was still very restrained, because all the main character deaths are off screen. But you know what happened to them, but it was off screen.
There were a few deaths that I was like, I'm glad you died. You deserve that. The guy who was just straight up stealing their stuff.
I was
like, I don't know if you deserve to die, but you definitely deserve to get your ass beat.
The couple I felt bad for both. The guy who just wanted to get laid, I felt bad for because he's
there for a Euro trip and
yeah.
he ends up in the hospital.
Yeah, I felt so bad for him. I was like, this guy's an asshole. He's not a good person, but he doesn't deserve what happened. Doesn't deserve to be
upfront about why he was there the whole time. Like, he's
right.
Like, all right, fine, I'll be a good sport. I'll go up to this weird farm out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Hold on, let me go. What's this? Some dead tree perfect. And then I gotta take a piss.
I mean, I'll be honest. Me at his age, I probably would have been like, oh, we just landed in Europe. Okay, you guys want to go up to this weird farm? You know what? I'm gonna hang here in the city for a couple days. You guys go have some fun. I'll catch up with you in a couple days. Now, I might end up getting hostile in the city.
Right.
But, I don't think I would have been on the farm, right? If that were my goal, if I was going to Europe to hook up with chicks, I'm not going out on the farm with you guys, sorry.
Right.
I don't care how culturally aware you guys want to be. I'm not quite there with you.
Yeah, I get that. But they also, talked it up. They're like, oh, yeah, this will be... There's plenty of girls there, and it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Once they got there, it was just like, oh.
Plenty of the girls in the strange drink the Kool-Aid kind of way.
Yeah.
And then, then your movie to watch was Tomorrowland.
Yes, Tomorrowland.
Very totally different.
A little bit.
From Hereditary.
A little bit. They definitely both end on a very, very different note. Yeah, very, very different films. Tomorrowland, I have mixed feelings about. Overall, I enjoyed it, but it felt like a combination of Men in Black and World's End, but with a like positive, save the world, positive energy message, and I didn't mind it, but I felt there was a lot of missed opportunities, and the audience was kept in the dark too much on a lot of things, to the point that they can't even figure it out. That, rewatches, like, oh, okay, that's what they were talking about here. But the film shouldn't be
maybe
set
they're
up.
expecting the tacky end thing to happen for you at home.
maybe. But
So the whole time you're watching the film, it just feels like deja vu.
yeah. Like, I enjoyed it, but I definitely, it was a mixed bag for me.
I think overall, alright, when I originally watched it, I have a younger daughter, but I originally watched it, it was by myself. It actually wasn't with her.
Okay.
I was flipping through, I think it was, at one point it was on one of the streaming services, or on a cable thing, and I was like, alright, what's up with this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a Disney movie, it's Clooney, or, I'll check it out.
Right.
I thought it was entertaining, like you said. I mean, yeah, it's a Disney movie, it's a kid's movie, it's far from a perfect movie. I didn't want you to watch it because I thought you were going to be like, oh, this is a genius film.
Right.
But we had a couple conversations about movies and about a few other things where I kind of, as we were having those conversations, was tying in the ideas that they had of, this feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm by no means a, oh God, don't believe in me or watch anything, but I do believe in energy. I do believe that, the world is going to get out of it what we put into it.
Right.
And what we output from us. Yeah. I'm not alone in that thinking. There are a ton of business and not just spiritual people, but business people that will tell you when you start helping other people, that's when you're going to become financially successful. Like
right.
Some people will get some people may produce a product that is it's not a need. It doesn't fulfill a need, but it fulfills a want, a temporary want. And sure, they'll sell those, but you got to keep coming up with new ones for those. When you make a product that fulfills a need, then it's a lot easier to make that product. But at the same time, if you're fulfilling a need, you're helping people.
Right.
You may have some type of business ethical responsibility to not price gouge your customers, but I think any company that produces a product that doesn't work and doesn't fulfill needs, they're not going to be in business for very long anyway.
No.
But I think in general, I like that overall message, whether you look at it as, oh look, it's hopeful, or you look at it as, look how negative things can be. I mean, again, you'll take out of that movie what you put into it.
Right.
Which side of that coin you're looking for.
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed the message of the film. For me, it just, there were there's some really odd and some uncomfortable choices made with the film. Specifically the love
Romance?
Yeah, the romance between a what looks
60-year-old man?
Yeah, 60-year-old man and like what appears to be a 12-year-old little girl.
Yeah,
that was an odd choice.
It was odd, but you know what? It didn't even get. It was awkward, but it never crossed into Leon the Professional uncomfortable.
No, but
like there's a couple scenes in that where you're just like,
yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jean Reno, for talking to that, to take out the scenes that were supposed to be in that film.
Mm-hmm.
I could not have watched that movie.
Yeah, no.
It's already awkward enough.
Yeah.
Her happy birthday, or her
works
Marilyn
because
Monroe happy birthday.
Yeah. It works because he's so against it.
Right.
And that's you're just like, oh thank God. Okay. I can understand why she's doing that. It's wrong, but like I understand why. But he at least is a good person, and we don't go there. So okay, good. We're still in a safe area, somewhat speaking.
He's correcting her.
Yes. And this, it never got to that point. I was never like, ugh. But I was definitely just like, please do not give me that Disney kiss moment. Do not do this. That would have been so bad. But instead, we have child suicide bomber moment, which I felt was another very odd choice.
Well, and for me, another odd choice is maybe I missed it somewhere in the only couple of viewings I've had of it, but did they ever describe that there's no other way to make other robots? There's no other robots in Tomorrowland where, oh, well, sure, maybe if you're out there and you're going to die, there's some type of self-destruct. I think that's quite dangerous. Like, if you're sending these robots out, they do that. If there's some small frazzle that fries their CPU and their hard drive so that was like, well, can't read that information. Okay, I get that. And that doesn't require an explosion. That requires, a little electricity or magnetism, however you produce it. But when they're in Tomorrowland, she can't upload her conscious through. They don't have Wi-Fi.
Right.
She can't upload her consciousness to another thing and come around the corner all Jessica Rabbit like, hi. Thanks for holding out. I got a new body, by the way. At least make it less creepy if you're gonna go the romance route. Like,
I don't know how I would have felt about that. I don't know if I would have been more creeped out by that, or like,
show them having to crush as kids. Never have a weird romantic moment when they're like that.
Okay.
And then at the end, she comes around the corner and he's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "You remember that time when?" And he just be like, "Whoa."
That's the ending shot. He looks at the camera and he's just like,
exactly. I mean, that's not even un-Disney-esque. There's Tangled. Plenty of the Disney princess movies have more adult inside jokes.
Oh yeah, I did like Hugh Laurie as the villain. He was telegraphed the moment I saw him. I was just like, oh, it's Hugh Laurie in a Disney movie. Pretty sure he's gonna be the main villain, or at least the person that we think is the main villain. He's still a villain. And
I don't know how to describe that character in a movie. Though, antagonist, certainly. Villain. They have a bad point of view. They're your obstacle.
When we were talking about the Disney movie, he is the villain.
Okay.
Other movies,
because I know this isn't the movie that we were talking about, but I feel similarly about Beauty and the Beast, and I talked to my daughter about that a couple times. I don't think Gaston is the villain of Beauty and the Beast. The freaking Enchantress is the villain of Beauty and the Beast. He's about to turn 21. He's been a beast for 10 years, which means he was 11 when it happened.
Right.
And it's revealed in one of their things that that's on Christmas night. So on Christmas night, the kid's asleep by himself. Some strange lady shows up to his castle and is like, "Can I come in?" And he's like, "Hey, well, I don't think so. Like, this is my castle, and I'm 10.
My parents are here.
Right. I'm 10. I'm not supposed to be just letting people in. Oh, well, I'll give you a rose."
I don't even know why I'm answering the door when my butler is...
Right. There are 12 people in this castle that are paid to answer this door. Lumiere being one of them. And Cogsworth, these people are supposed to be answering the door. All right, so I had to answer the door. You're a strange lady. No. Well, I'll give you a rose. Oh, well, that changes everything. Now I'll let you in to kill me and maybe all my servants. No.
Yeah.
And now I get turned into a beast. And on top of it, I'm a 10-year-old turned into a beast, so I didn't start that big.
Yeah, what happened to my parents?
And in the original, they say he's the son of the Dauphin. He's the son of the Prince of France. And he just disappears and nobody comes looking for him?
Yeah.
Like, they changed it and made him all in his 20s and avant-garde, weird,
right.
In the remake. Like, he's this hedonist,
I never saw the live action remake of the Disney one.
Okay.
But from my understanding, they definitely make a point to make Gaston less villainous. Where in the animated one, he's you can make the argument that he was doing this.
He's a dick.
Yeah.
Like, he blackmails Belle and
right.
marrying him. He's not a good guy. I'm just saying, as far as who is the villain, who causes the situation for which all of this isn't a little kid.
Oh yeah.
It's this enchantress. She's expecting a lot out of a 10-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then now he's a 10-year-old kid that's got 10 years to find somebody to fall in love with him while he looks like a beast. You turned him into a beast because you thought he was a horrible person.
Right.
Wait. This is an impossible curse to break. You are a mean woman to a 10-year-old. And not only that, you cursed all of his servants whose worst crime was they didn't wake up and answer the door.
Right.
Because then they would have been turned into the beast.
Mm-hmm.
What? Come on.
Yeah.
What? In any event, in Tomorrowland...
Yes. Back to Tomorrowland.
I never went into it expecting an Oscar-winning film.
No, and from your recommendations, I kind of feel I got it a little bit hyped up. Where I was expecting, this is something really impressive. Okay.
No, it's fun. I like the ideas.
Yes.
I know Disney isn't for lack of movies that, especially recently, for movies that give some kind of rah-rah cheerleader theme or lessons, right? But this one in particular, again, maybe there's also, I guess, a slight difference between us that you're younger. I'm in my 40s. I have 2 daughters, and I have one that loves science.
Right.
So for me, seeing a girl in that, and they're giving the girls, hey, this is a girls' science movie.
Right.
And I think if somebody had walked up to me and been like, oh, your daughter likes science? Well, here, come watch this Disney movie. It's all about girls being scientists, and I think I might have had is this going to be preachy?
Right.
Kind of attitude. Instead, I went into it going, oh, it's a story about this little boy. Okay, it's not a story about this little boy.
Right.
Oh, it's a story about this girl. Okay, I didn't feel bait and switch, and I didn't, at no point did I feel like there was some kind of, ultra environmentalist or something,
No.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was being preached at any point.
No, it was just be good people.
Right. and well, these are out, in these possibilities that they kept showing, there was a nuclear possibility, there was a this possibility,
Right.
I found the weather ones
Very interesting.
I found them to be interesting because I was like, well, she's saying this is in 3 days. Like, if you're showing me, well, this could be our future in 50 years,
Sure.
okay, that follows climate models. I'm fine with that, but we're not going from this. This isn't the movie The Day After Tomorrow. We're not going from this to that in the next 3 days.
No. Especially with no build up to it,
right.
like throughout the rest of the film.
Right.
You know,
If you show me something earlier in the film,
yeah.
some massive storms that are building up, I still might have went back and went, oh, you're going to be Day After Tomorrow for kids, but
which helps reinforce the end message. You know, the end. You know, the twist. You know, that it's just potential futures. You know, but still, it was just like also with the natural.
There's too much jargon in there sometimes for smaller kids.
Yeah, but for me, the natural disaster thing was also just kind of like, okay, but how do you control that? Like, okay, environmentalism, yeah, we're sure we can help out, but
a volcano, volcanoes aren't man-made. there's nothing we can do to stop it.
It's not pollution that causes that, you know.
Right.
Fragging isn't really happening too often. There are too many active volcanoes.
Right.
Like,
they're not practicing that, at least right now, that we know of in Yosemite right now. Like, oh, you know what, let's see if we can blow this super volcano.
Yeah. So, yeah, those were just kind of like, okay.
I would hope that even the most...
not much we can do about that.
Climate denier would not allow people to go start doing that in Yellowstone.
Yeah, no, I think that. I'm sure at least the employees and the state park people will be like, okay, alright, no. Like, I don't care if you have the permits and the grants. I'm not allowing this. Like, no.
Have you seen 2012? What happened to Woody Harrelson? This is how that happened.
But yeah, no. I enjoyed Tomorrowland. I enjoyed all the action. I found it very surprisingly violent for a Disney movie.
Heads ripped off.
The heads ripped off, faces crushed in, like it was,
baseball bat. Yeah, it was just like silly putty. It's alright. It's not violent. There's no blood.
Sure, because okay, so there's no blood. This is gonna be kind of cartoony. Oh, okay. Hey, brother. What's all this red stuff coming out? This is how it was in the movie.
Hopefully the kids don't jump that far.
Yeah. Like, I mean, yes, it probably wouldn't have been good if, like, blue oil or sparks and stuff were shooting out, but still, it was just like, maybe some weight to the level of brutality would be nice. Especially some weight to, like, the robots killing people, like, that would be nice. Like,
no, they just vaporized them, and so again, no blood,
no, nothing.
No harm, no foul.
No citizens in the background running and screaming, even though there's storefronts all around. Like
nobody with cell phone cameras.
Yep. And so yeah, there's
no CCTV.
I also I definitely the Men in Black vibes were really reinforced at the monument moment at the end, where it was just like, oh, okay. Where's the thing that's gonna, like, where's the neuralizer blast? Like, I'm just waiting for that, and then the EMP went off, and I was just like, okay, yeah, just full Men in Black right now. Okay, got it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't erase anybody's memory of it.
No, but they got no proof. Oh, sure, you saw
who wouldn't believe that when the city of Paris. I mean,
Paris is. Are you serious? People look at the world right now. People. A lot of people believe Corona is a hoax and stuff. Like, let's be real here.
Or they're taking off. Never brought the Eiffel Tower back together.
But they show it closing.
They show it closing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's people that don't believe we actually landed on the moon. So like ever.
When did that happen?
Like ever.
I didn't hear about that.
Like not that the original moon landing was staged. No. Like, we've never been to the moon. There are people that believe that. And it's just like, okay. Like, I'm willing to, like, grant you your belief in your conspiracy theory if you believe that the moon landing was staged, but to believe that no one's ever been, like, if people can be that dense, then yes. People are not going to believe a bunch of French French people that are all saying like, oh yeah, the ground opened up and this ancient rocket ship shot up out of the sky super fast. Sure it did. Sure it did. Yeah, you all had cell phones, so why didn't you guys film it? Well, we were, but then an EMP blast went off and like fried everything. That's really convenient, isn't it? That's nice. Okay. Sure, it happened. I bet Harambe crawled out right afterwards, chasing after him, didn't he?
That was something.
Like, it's just, yeah.
Catch me outside, how about that? Well, that's my quarantine slogan. Catch me outside, how about that? Go ahead and catch me outside.
But, yeah, I enjoyed Tomorrowland.
Hereditary, I give it a solid B plus.
Yeah, for
borderline A minus.
Yeah, I'm more in the 8 or 9 out of 10 for Hereditary. I definitely have noticed issues with it, but it does other things improve upon rewatches, which kind of shocked me. Like,
yeah, that's where I'm at. In the 80s, well, in the 80s
yeah.
is B, and 90s is an A, you know?
Yeah.
Something there.
So, yeah. Tomorrowland, I'd give, like, let's see.
So Tomorrowland overall. I mean, if I'm looking at it from an adult perspective, yeah, I give it a C plus maybe.
Yeah.
You know, if my daughter, you know, who may be that target audience, I know for a fact she absolutely loves that movie. She, you know, she'd probably go, you know, 7, 8, you know, but she's a kid.
Right.
Yeah. And again, it's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
So it's more what it's made for.
For me, I'm more curious about the process of behind this movie than the actual movie, because I know it's a passion project for the director.
Well, I kept waiting for the park tie-in.
Yeah.
You know, we live here in Orlando. I'm a you know, Walt Disney World pass holder.
We had the Small World.
Right, we had the Small World, but that's not anywhere near Tomorrowland.
Yeah, and that wasn't even at Disney. That was at the World's Fair.
Right, that was at the World's Fair. You know, I kept waiting for the tie-ins. Like, okay, you're probably not going to do Buzz Lightyear because of where you're supposed.
Right. For Space Mountain.
Alien Encounter. Space Mountain. I mean, I kind of felt like we got Space Mountain with a rocket.
Okay, I can see that.
I feel like we kind of got Space Mountain for the rocket, but you know, I know they're building a Tron coaster. Okay, well, the other thing is set in the modern era. You put Star Wars stuff in that hobby shop. Why couldn't you have done some product placement for Tron? You have an upcoming Tron coaster in your Tomorrowland section,
and it felt very Tron.
I you know, I love Tron, the original,
yeah.
and we both talked about it. We like Legacy as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got more of the other vibes that she talked about more than Tron. You know, like, but I like the special effects in it. It was fun movie.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, I think that's gonna be kind of wrapping it up for.
What's for next time?
Yes, I was about to get into that. So, we still gonna do the other half of that, or are we just gonna do the first?
We can do both.
Okay.
I had a friend of mine who texted me and said, "Don't look it up. Don't see what it's about. Just go on to, you know, streaming service and watch a movie called Velocipaster." So that's gonna be the first half and the second half. And
then because this film is undoubtedly just going to be absolute awfulness, we decided to double down and see which film is worse and rewatch Rise of Skywalker for the first time since we saw it in the theater. And,
I'm so nervous.
Yeah, actually see what that's like, knowing what it is going in. So, yeah.
Needless to say, we both gave away our first impressions of Rise of Skywalker.
we're not big fans of that film. In fact, this channel almost started the day that film came out. But yeah. So yeah, that'll be that. Due to the quality of those films, might take a little bit before we get to. But can't guarantee that's gonna be too fast. But yeah, this is those shall be interesting. I'm quite excited for Velocipaster.
No idea what this is about.
Yeah, I have no idea what to expect from this. I believe he's like Punisher werewolf raptor, who's a priest, and somehow he's going up against the mob and prostitutes.
I'm thinking he's Chris Pratt from Jurassic Park, who uses the power of God to control a pack of velociraptors that he uses in a cult in Hereditary style to kill people.
Or
He's an evil pastor.
better yet, it's Blue from Jurassic World, voiced by Chris Pratt. Dressed in a pastor.
I'm excited to see if that's what that is. Any of the suggestions, I'll be more happy with than probably what I'm going to end up with.
Yeah. No, I feel like we're gonna see a lot of hand puppets. Like as
Thumb Wars.
No, I don't mean that. Like I mean like somebody's hand inside a Velociraptor $5 mask, and I feel like that's going to be our Velociraptor.
What was that dog they used to use?
Oh God, yeah, I forget his name.
That's what you have me thinking of.
Yes, I feel like that's what we're gonna get. So, a lot of Kermit faces.
All right.
But yeah, that wraps this up. Thank you guys. If you like this, definitely follow me. I'm gonna be doing a lot more of these in the future. I'm gonna be doing solo reviews of pretty much anything that I watch or rewatch. Give me a like or like this video if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you thought of these films in the comments if you've seen them. I would hope you've seen them if you stayed through all of this. But yeah, bye y'all.